Tony asked the banker to check the screen a second time. $2.3 million. Gone. Where's your money, sir? You made a large donation to St. Anthony's Church, the banker said. Tony had never donated to any church. He rushed home, and when he opened the door, he heard familiar voices from the bedroom. His wife, Maria's voice. "Tony will never find out we took the money." A man's voice responded, "The church money is safe, Maria." Tony opened the door. His wife was in the bedroom, but the man next to her was someone he never expected. Because when Tony discovered who his wife was sleeping with, he was about to get the shock of his life. Tony Marcelli had been married to the same woman for 25 years. Maria was a beautiful, devout girl he'd met in the Italian neighborhood of Brooklyn. Every Sunday they'd go to St. Anthony's Church together, sit hand in hand, and listen to Father Rodriguez's sermons. Tony's business was simple: Marcelli and Sons Construction Company. His grandfather had founded it when he came from Italy. His father had grown it, and now he ran it. Officially, just construction work. But everyone in the neighborhood knew that some jobs required special arrangements. Maria was the perfect Italian wife. There was always food ready at home, clothes were ironed, house was spotless. When Tony came home in the evening, his slippers were waiting. He never suspected anything. "Tony, we should make donations to the church," Maria would often say. "Father Rodriguez is such a good man. He needs help." Tony would always pull out $200 to $300 from his pocket and give it to her. "Of course, amore, whatever you want." But it never occurred to him that Maria's donation matter was much bigger than that. Have you ever trusted your spouse blindly and been deceived? Type blind trust. That Monday morning, Tony had gone to the bank for a routine check. He did the same thing every month: account balances, new investments, cash flow control. When banker Jennifer looked at the screen, her eyebrows furrowed. "Mr. Marcelli, there's a problem with your main account." "What kind of problem?" "There's a large money transfer, $2.3 million, sent as a donation to St. Anthony's Church last week." Tony's heart stopped. "I never made any donation." "But the signature is your wife's, Mrs. Maria Marcelli. She's registered as an authorized signatory." Tony's world spun. He had given Maria authorization on the accounts, of course, for household expenses, shopping. But $2.3 million? This was their 20-year savings. "Can we cancel this transfer?" "Unfortunately, sir, we need to investigate what the money was used for at the church. Large donations cannot be reversed." Tony left the bank feeling dizzy. Why would Maria do such a thing to him? Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone had hacked the account, forged Maria's signature. He had to rush home. When was the biggest money shock of your life? Type money shock. When Tony got home, the garage was empty. Maria's car wasn't there. But there were sounds coming from the house, from upstairs, from the bedroom. He quietly opened the door. First he heard Maria's voice. "Tony will never find out we took the money. He only cares about construction work." A man's voice responded, "The church money is safe, Maria. No one will suspect anything." Tony held his breath. He started climbing the stairs. The voices were clearer now. "I've been married to him for 20 years, said Maria. "He never suspected anything. Every Sunday he comes to church, you give sermons, and he kisses your hand." "Father Rodriguez," Tony whispered to himself. His wife was talking to the priest. But why in the bedroom? When he approached the door, he saw the answer. The bedroom door was ajar. Inside, Maria was lying completely naked. There was a man next to her, but that man wasn't Father Rodriguez. The man was Michael Castellano, Tony's closest friend. The friend he'd had for 30 years, played poker with every week, invited to family dinners. Tony's world collapsed. Have you ever discovered your closest friend stabbed you in the back? Type backstabbed. Tony stood behind the door listening. His heart was beating so fast he felt pain in his chest. Michael, what will we do if Tony finds out the truth? Maria asked. He won't find out, said Michael. I'm his closest friend. He'll never suspect. Besides, the money is now in the church account, clean. But what will Father Rodriguez say? We took his money, Michael laughed. Rodriguez gets his cut too. He's skimming church money into his own pocket. Tony was shocked. Not only was his wife cheating on him, his closest friend and the priest he trusted had also conspired. Have you been stealing Tony's money like this for 20 years? Maria asked. No, amore, for the last 5 years. We started with small amounts. Tony never noticed, but this time was the big score, 2.3 million. What will we do with the money? Half stays with me, half with you. We'll give Rodriguez his cut too. Then you divorce Tony. You'll get alimony too. Maria sat up in bed. What if Tony suspects? What can he do if he suspects? There's no proof. Money is in the church. Signature is yours. Legally, no crime. Tony had heard enough. He quietly went down the stairs, left the house. He sat in his car, his hands shaking. 25 years of marriage, 30 years of friendship. The priest he trusted. All lies. Have you ever had a moment when everyone you trusted betrayed you? Type, everyone lied. As Tony sat alone in his car, he thought about the past. The Martelli family didn't just do construction. Since his grandfather's time, they also provided special services. Tony had learned at a young age. Some problems aren't solved in court. Some problems are solved the old way. Uncle Sal was still alive. 78 years old, but still a respected man in the neighborhood. Former capo of the Colombo family. Retired, but his connections were still strong. Tony picked up the phone. Uncle Sal, it's Tony. I need to talk to you. Che cosa, nipote? What's wrong, nephew? I can tell something from your voice. Big problem. My wife, my closest friend, and the priest. They all scammed me. Uncle Sal was quiet for a moment. Then he took a deep breath. Vieni qua, come here. Come to the social club. Let's talk. Tony went to the social club in Bensonhurst. Inside, Uncle Sal was sitting with 2 old friends, Dominic and Frank. Both had known Tony since childhood. Raccontami tutto. Tell me everything, said Uncle Sal. Tony told everything. The money, his wife, Michael, the priest. Uncle Sal's face reddened as he listened. Cazzo! Uncle Sal shouted. Your wife, your friend, and that pezzo di merda priest. Se ne fregarono. They scammed you. Dominic leaned forward. Tony, this isn't just about money. This is about respect. Respect. Frank agreed. A man trusts his family, his friends. Breaking this trust, mort, is death. Uncle Sal stood up. Tony, you're not a bambino anymore. You must be uomo, man. This betrayal will be paid for. Have you ever received life-changing advice from your elders? Type family advice. Uncle Sal taught Tony the old ways. Revenge was a dish served cold. Acting hastily would lead to mistakes. Primo, said Uncle Sal, act like you know nothing. Go casa, act normal with Maria. Don't create suspicion. Second, said Dominic, act normal with Michael, too. Play poker, meet for coffee. He shouldn't suspect either. Third, said Frank, talk to the priest. Go to church, go for confession. He should feel comfortable, too. Uncle Sal leaned on the table. Then we'll hit them all at the same time. But we need to be smart. We don't want police problems. The plan was simple but effective. 1. He would act normal with Maria, gain her trust. 2. He would arrange a poker night with Michael, invite him home. 3. He would invite Father Rodriguez for dinner. 4. He would confront all three at the same time. But Tony, said Uncle Sal, una volta che cominci, non puoi fermarti. Once you start, you can't stop. There's no turning back from this strada, Tony thought. He could return to normal life, get divorced, go after his money, end his friendship with Michael, use legal methods. But then he remembered Maria's voice. Tony will never find out. He remembered Michael's voice. He never noticed for 20 years. This betrayal wouldn't go unpunished. Uncle Sal, what's the plan? Have you ever seriously considered taking revenge? Type considered revenge. The next day, Tony came home at normal time. Maria was preparing dinner in the kitchen. She smiled as always. Ciao, amore. How was your day? Tony forced a smile. Good, tesoro. What did you do today? I went to church. I talked to Father Rodriguez about the new donation campaign. Tony's stomach turned, but he kept his expression. Good. I was thinking, let's invite Michael for dinner tonight. He hasn't come in a long time. Maria's face changed for a moment, but she quickly recovered. Sure, I'll cook. Should we invite Father Rodriguez too? He hasn't come in a long time either. Perfect idea, said Tony. Saturday evening. We'll have a nice dinner. Maria gave Tony a kiss. You're such a thoughtful husband. Tony felt disgusted receiving the kiss. This woman had been robbing him for 5 years, but he continued acting. In the evening, he called Michael. Hey, buddy, there's dinner at Maria's on Saturday. Will you come? Of course, Tony. Maria's cooking is amazing. What time? Come at 7. Father Rodriguez is coming too. It'll be a nice evening. There was slight tension in Michael's voice. Father Rodriguez too? Interesting combination. Yeah, Maria suggested it. You don't have problems with priests, do you? No problem. See you Saturday. Finally, he called Father Rodriguez. Father, I'm calling about the dinner Maria mentioned. Ah, yes, Tony, Maria told me. Very kind offer. We're expecting you Saturday at 7. Michael Castellano is coming too. Michael? There was panic in the priest's voice. He's coming too? Is there a problem, Father? No, just, it'll be nice. See you Saturday. When Tony hung up the phone, he was smiling. The plan was starting to work. Have you ever acted to trap someone? Type acted to trap. Saturday evening at 7 p.m., Maria had prepared a magnificent meal. Italian style, antipasto, pasta, ossobuco, tiramisu. The table was set with the best china. Father Rodriguez was the first to arrive, a 35-year-old, handsome, charming man. Tony greeted him at the door. Father, welcome. Come in, come in. Tony, thank you so much. Maria's cooking is famous. Maria came out of the kitchen and hugged Father. Tony watched carefully. The hug was a bit too long, a bit too intimate. Michael arrived at 7:15. When he saw Tony, he smiled, but there was tension in his eyes. Hey, buddy, Father Rodriguez is here too. Nice surprise. Yeah, Maria's idea. Want a drink? I got Chianti. Dinner began. Conversation flowed normally. Father Rodriguez talked about church renovations. Michael about business. Maria played the perfect hostess, but Tony noticed subtle details. Maria touched Michael's shoulder when serving food. Father Rodriguez smiled excessively when complimenting Maria. Michael and Father Rodriguez felt uncomfortable with each other. When the main course ended, Tony stood up. "Friends, I want to make a toast." Everyone raised their glasses. "To 25 years of marriage, 30 years of friendship, and spiritual guidance. Cheers!" "Cheers," everyone said. As Tony raised his glass, he added, "And, of course, to truth." Eventually, everything comes to light. Maria and Michael's faces changed. Father Rodriguez cast uncomfortable glances. "Tony, what do you mean?" Maria asked. "Nothing specific, amore, just thinking about life's ironies. Have you ever said something that created tension at the table? Type, created tension." After dessert service, Tony stood up. "Maria, can you clean the kitchen? I'll smoke cigars with Michael and Father in the basement." Maria hesitated. "Can I come too?" "No, tesoro, it'll be men talk. We'll discuss business." The three men went down to the basement. Tony brought out 3 whiskeys from the bar. "Gentlemen, cheers." After drinking, Tony sat at the table. "Guys, I want to have an honest conversation with you." Michael and Father Rodriguez looked at each other. "About what, Tony?" Michael asked. "About marriage? About trust? About friendship?" Father Rodriguez was uncomfortable. "Tony, maybe I should go." "No, Father, stay. You're part of this conversation, too." Tony pulled out the bank statement from his pocket. "I got this from the bank this morning. $2.3 million missing. Sent as a donation to St. Anthony's Church." Both froze. "Funny thing," Tony continued, "I never made such a donation, but the signature is my wife's." Michael swallowed. "Tony, maybe Maria wanted to surprise you." "Surprise?" Tony laughed. "Oh, yes, it was a big surprise." Father Rodriguez tried to get up. "Tony, I really should go." "Sit down!" Tony shouted. The authority in his voice froze both of them. "Because I heard your conversation. In the bedroom, both of you." Silence, dead silence. "You and Maria, Michael, my 30-year friend, and you, Father, God's representative. The 3 of you have been robbing me for 5 years. Have you ever felt fear and power during a confrontation?" Type, confronted. Michael stood up. "Tony, look, man, this is a misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" Tony slammed his whiskey glass on the table. "You're sleeping with my wife, stealing my money, and this is a misunderstanding?" Father Rodriguez spoke with trembling hands. "Tony, I showed weakness. I ask for forgiveness." "Forgiveness?" Tony laughed bitterly. "You're God's man. Are you asking me for forgiveness?" The basement door opened. Uncle Sal, Dominic, and Frank entered. All 3 wore suits, serious expressions. Michael and Father Rodriguez panicked. "Tony, who are these people?" Michael asked. "Family," Tony said simply. Uncle Sal stepped forward. "Michael Castellano, Father Rodriguez, Maria upstairs." He spoke with an Italian accent. "You disrespected the Marcelli family." "Look, sir," said Michael, "this is something between friends." "Friends?" Uncle Sal laughed. "Friends don't steal. Friends don't fuck another man's wife." Father Rodriguez started crying. "Please, I made a mistake. I'll return the money to the church." "Too late," said Dominic. "Respect broken, trust broken." Frank put 3 folders on the table. "There are choices. Listen carefully." Tony opened the folders. "Michael, you betrayed a 30-year friendship. Option 1, disappear. Leave the state. Never come back. Option 2, face the consequences." Michael's face went white. Tony, please, man. Father Rodriguez, Tony opened the second folder. You broke sacred vows. Option 1, leave the church, go to a faraway city. Option 2, confess to the congregation, face the scandal. Father Rodriguez was sobbing. And Maria. Tony opened the third folder. She'll receive different treatment. Have you ever had the power to distribute justice? Type distributed justice. When Maria came down to the basement, she understood the situation. Tony sitting at the table, 3 strange men around him, Michael and Father Rodriguez crying. Tony, che cosa sta succedendo? What's happening? Siediti, Maria. Sit down, Maria. Tony's voice was ice cold. Maria sat down, her hands shaking. 25 years, Maria. We were married for 25 years. Ti amavo, I loved you, trusted you completely. Tony, non capisco. I don't understand. Understand this. Tony put the bank statement in front of Maria. $2.3 million. Stolen by you. Maria's face went white. And this, Tony pointed to Michael, il tuo amante, your lover. For 5 years you fucked my best friend. Tony, io posso spiegare. I can explain. No explanation, Uncle Sal intervened. In our world, a woman who steals from her husband and fucks his friend, c'è solo una punizione. There's only one punishment. Maria fell to her knees. Per favore, Tony. Please, Tony. I love you. Michael forced me. Michael shook his head. That's not true. You said you hated Tony. Basta, Tony shouted. Enough lies, Uncle Sal whispered in Tony's ear. Tradizionalmente, questa donna dovrebbe morire. Traditionally, this woman should die. But modern times, different methods, Tony thought. In the old days, Maria's fate would be certain. But now, there were other ways. Maria, Tony spoke calmly, you have one choice. Sign divorce papers. Give up all rights to my money. Disappear from this neighborhood. Forever. And if I refuse? Uncle Sal smiled, a cold smile. Don't refuse, Figliola. Don't, daughter. Tony is being merciful. We're not that merciful. Have you ever witnessed someone begging for mercy? Type, begged mercy. A week later, everything was settled. Michael had left the city. He'd gone to California, never to return. He'd left Tony a final letter. I destroyed a 30-year friendship. I don't ask for forgiveness because I don't deserve it. Take care, brother. Father Rodriguez had sent a resignation letter to the Pope, left the priesthood and moved to Montana. He'd only told the congregation personal reasons. They never learned the truth. Maria had signed the divorce papers and left Brooklyn. Her mother lived in Florida. She'd gone there. House, car, bank accounts, everything stayed with Tony. The money was recovered from St. Anthony's Church. New Father Benedetto had come, an honest priest. Tony had told him part of the truth. Father understood. Mr. Marcelli, Father Benedetto had said, some people abuse sacred trust. Questo non è di Dio. This is not from God. You did the right thing. Tony now lived alone. The big house was quiet but peaceful. No more lies, no more betrayal. Uncle Sal came to visit one evening. Come ti senti, nipote? How do you feel, nephew? Libero, free. Uncle Sal, free. Good. Hai imparato la lezione. You learned the lesson. Trust is earned, not given. Respect is demanded, not requested. And family, Uncle Sal? Real family? Uncle Sal smiled. Real family, sempre c'è, is always there. Blood or not blood? Loyalty matters, not biology. Have you ever experienced a period when loneliness brought peace? Type loneliness peace. 6 months later, Tony met a new woman. Angela, 38 years old, a widow. Her husband had died of cancer. She had no children. A genuine, honest woman. During their first date, Tony decided to be honest. "Angela, I want to tell you something. I was married for 25 years. The marriage ended with betrayal." "I'm sorry, Tony. It must have been difficult." "Very difficult. But I learned something important. Trust is hard to build, easy to destroy." Angela looked thoughtful. "Tony, everyone deserves a second chance at happiness. The past is the past." Tony smiled. For the first time in a long time, he felt genuine happiness. 6 months later, Uncle Sal came to dinner with Angela to test her. He tested Angela, asked questions about family values, loyalty, honesty. After dinner, Uncle Sal gave Tony his approval. "Questa è una brava donna. This is a good woman. You keep her happy, she keeps you happy. Ma mai dimenticare la lezione. But never forget the lesson." Never forget Uncle Sal. A year later, Tony and Angela got married. Small ceremony, close friends only. Father Benedetto performed the ceremony. At the wedding reception, Uncle Sal made a toast. "To Tony and Angela, amore vero, true love." Sometimes life gives second chances, but only dopo che hai imparato la lezione, after you've learned the lesson. Have you ever had an experience where a second chance made you stronger? Type second chance. Tony's story teaches us this. Iron will isn't just about taking revenge. Sometimes it's the strength needed to forgive and start over. Tony could have killed Maria. That's how it would have been in the old ways. But in the modern world, revenge is taken in different ways. Sometimes removing someone from your life is more effective than removing them from life. In the real mafia world, respect is more important than money. Family bonds are sacred. Betrayal has punishments worse than death. Smart revenge is superior to bloody revenge. What they teach us today. Test trust, don't give it blindly. Listen to your elders' advice. Stay calm in the face of betrayal, act wisely. Give second chances after learning the lessons. Questions for you. How much do you trust your closest people? Would you choose revenge or distance in the face of betrayal? What was the most valuable advice your elders gave you? Do you know someone who deserves a second chance? Subscribe to Iron Will Stories. We tell stories where strong will triumphs, betrayals find their punishment, and second chances are earned. If this story moved you, like and comment. Iron Will Tony. If you believe real power lies not in revenge, but in making the right decisions. In Italian-American culture, family honor is more valuable than anything. Tony protected his honor while preserving his humanity. Tony is 58 years old today. He has a happy marriage with Angela. Marcelli and Sons Construction is still strong, but now does completely legal work. Every Sunday he goes to St. Anthony's Church, listens to Father Benedetto's sermons. He sits in the same pew, but now has someone he trusts beside him. He never heard from Maria, not from Michael either, not from Father Rodriguez. For him, they're considered dead. Uncle Sal passed away last month. At his funeral, Tony gave a speech. "This man taught me what respect means. He taught me that family isn't just blood ties. And most importantly, he taught me that the real power of revenge lies in forgiving those who deserve forgiveness." Holding Angela's hand, he continued, "Uncle Sal, you taught me how to recognize second chances. Grazie, zio. Riposa in pace." Everyone in the neighborhood still shows Tony respect, but now it's from love, not fear. Because real power isn't about creating fear, it's about creating trust. because iron will. Isn't about standing strong, it's about standing right. Isn't about taking revenge, it's about ensuring justice. Isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about building the future. Isn't about staying alone, it's about finding and keeping those who deserve it. Tony's story reminds us, the greatest victory isn't destroying your enemies, it's building a better life without them.